Bills Mafia. Are you ready? From North Carolina to Buffalo, the Mafia is united. This is your home for the passion, the power, and the pride of the Buffalo Bills. Welcome to Bills Mafia Carolina Takeover. Let's go, Bills.
All right, Bills Mafia, welcome back to another episode. And I got to say here, Tim the Outsider's obviously here, as he is every week. And I got to say, Tim, when you and I started this podcast way back when in August, I really didn't think we would have I know we'd have some losses, but I didn't really think we would have combined week after week loss and then absolutely get blown out by a team that we shouldn't have lost. I certainly didn't think that. I knew there was going to be some losses there. So this isn't as fun as I thought it was.
Yeah, that was an ugly loss. I really think that one says more about your regular season than the Kansas City win. Yeah. The defense needs to get turned around. And obviously you guys need to make some changes, and maybe you should have made some moves at the trade deadline.
Yeah, so do you think it's really the defense that needs to be turned around, or is it the offense? Because I take you back to a few weeks ago when we played New England, the defense hung in there, and the Bills had a chance to do it. Offense couldn't get it done. Then I fast forward to Atlanta, blown out in the first half. Defense settles back in. I think that's when Sean McDermott actually took over the defense. And then defense put it on a platter for him. Josh couldn't do anything. Fast forward to last week against Miami. The score indicates a blowout, but the Bills were in that game. The defense hung in there. They kept them in. Now, I know they had that big run at the end of the game, but the game was over at that point. But are you really putting this on the defense more than the offense?
No. I'll give you that. But I don't like when Miami doesn't have that many weapons. You already know you got to stop the running back, and obviously you didn't stop him. The team needs to work together. Obviously, there's going to be turnovers here and there. You're not going to be playing mistake-free all season long. So defense needs to step up when that happens. Obviously, Josh giving up the ball a few times is not going to help the defense when you got to go right back out there. But this is a Miami team. This wasn't Kansas City. If you did the same thing against Kansas City, I wouldn't even worry about it. But the fact that this was Miami, a division rival and literally one of the worst teams in the league, that's a problem.
Yeah, I'm big shaking head. Yes, agree with you. 100%. Again, the defense in the 3 games that I had mentioned have kept Josh Allen in the game. And the Miami game, the Bills were in it. They couldn't score on the first drive. They had 3 and outs. The offense is not clicking. So I don't put this on the defense. I actually put this on Josh. In the past, the New England game, the Atlanta game, and the Miami game, the Bills are winning that game. They may have to come back and win it, but they're winning that game. So I definitely think this is all offense. We talked about this at trade deadline. The Bills need help. You had said at trade deadline, they need to go defense.
Yep, absolutely.
And I said they need to go wide receiver. And I think, again, it is shown that the Bills wide receiver is nothing. There's nothing we can do. Josh does not look like Josh Allen out there on offense. And the main reason is Miami shut down Cook, took away Shakir, and then Dalton Kincaid gets hurt and doesn't come back in the game, right?
That's the main thing. I think Kincaid's your glue. And the fact that he got hurt.
He's the Travis Kelce in his prime, right?
He's your middle guy, and honestly, he's your number one wide receiver.
Yeah. Which is
Shakur is good, but he's a slot receiver. He's not taking over a game by himself. He's the one that you hit underneath, and he's getting separation. But everybody else needs to step up. And the fact that you guys went and got Marcel Hardman,
yeah.
just signed under the practice squad, tells me a whole lot of what you guys thought of the receivers after that game.
Yeah, I agree with you. And there's obviously nothing we can do about it right now. I mean, we're just gonna have to live the way we need to live, and but Josh is not himself, right? And obviously, I'm not a quarterback, nor are you, but people talk about trusting the wide receivers. I don't feel like, as a couch coach watching on TV, it doesn't feel like Josh really it looks like he's looking for one guy, maybe two, and that's it, right? I mean, do you get that feeling as well?
No, I see what you're saying, but here's the problem. Josh Allen is amazing. I get that. But he can't be Superman every game.
Exactly.
It's just impossible for it to do. And what I was just looking up in the stats was James Cook only had 13 rushes. Why? Why are we only running 13 times? He was averaging 4.1 a carry.
Yeah.
You keep pounding the ball. Run the ball. You guys don't have the receivers to just pass all day long.
Yeah.
Especially when Kincaid went down.
Yeah.
So, put the two tight end sets in, put the two wide receivers out there, and pound the ball. Then just keep them honest with Josh Allen.
Yeah.
You put too much on Josh Allen, guess what? He's gonna he's gonna keep on running. Guess what? He's gonna fumble. That's just the nature of the business. He's not a running back.
Yeah.
And the more you pass, there's more opportunities to get an interception, especially when you have bad wide receivers that don't get separation.
I agree. I wrote this down, and I want to share this with you because I knew we were going to talk about wide receivers, and quite frankly, after the game, I mean, that's all I see was the difference in the game. We had no one to throw. So I want to throw this at you, and I chose last year to do a little comparison with you because I wanted to remove Diggs from the fold here, okay?
Yep.
So last year's wide receivers, and I know if you go back in ESPN, the stats and stuff, there's going to be a lot more players in the receiving, passing, receiving, and all that. But I strictly just want to do wide receivers here. All right. So last year, these were the wide receivers. Okay. Shakir, Coleman, Hollins.
Yep.
Cooper, who played a few games. Curtis Samuel. Marquez Valquez Scantlis.
Yeah.
6 games. All right. Okay. So just keep that in your minds.
Yeah.
This year's wide receivers, again, just wide receivers. Shakir, Coleman, Palmer, who's played 6 games, I think. Elijah Moore, Shavers, Curtis Samuel. All right. Now tell me who out of these 2 years, what is the best wide receiver core out of those 2 years?
It's obviously the year before. Mac
Exactly.
Hollins makes a big difference because he makes big catches, but he run blocks very well.
Okay. So
and that's why Patriots are doing with him.
Right. So based on those 2 wide receivers, there's not, and this is why I didn't want to go back to Diggs. There's not one guy on there that you would say, oh, that's the number 1 wide receiver, other than Shakir. Take Shakir out of it.
On both those receiver cores, there's not a number 1.
Exactly. So tell me, what is the difference in the passing game between last year and this year when all we're replacing, all we have here is we have 1, 2, 3. No, we have 1, 2, 3. We have 4 guys returning from last year. And the guys that are not
I'll tell you exactly what happened. What happened. So, you know what ended up happening after last year, after Josh Allen gets MVP? All these defenses, all these NFL defenses figure out what you're doing. They get the tape up because essentially what you just told me, for the most part, it's the same wide receiver core.
Exactly the same.
Give or take a couple players. Nobody big difference, right? That's the thing is you need to change up. Joe Brady needs to change up what he's doing as well. Because the fact is, they're like, hey, you don't got a number one wide receiver that's going to take over a game. They're figuring out they can play man to man with your wide receivers because you're not going to beat them.
I disagree there because like teams recognized what Allen was doing and Mahomes. Like they play too high safety probably since 2020 or 2021. Like they were not allowing Josh to go over the top or Mahomes. It's the same thing. So that's what that is what's frustrating to me when I went back and looked at the list. Like, man, what did we have last year? We had Mac Hollins. I would say Gabe Davis would swap out for Mac Hollins this year. Like that would be the Mac Hollins, right? If because he's gonna end up playing this year.
Well, from what I've seen of Gabe Davis, what everybody's been saying is he's looked slow, and that's his whole game is speed.
Yeah.
And from as many tryouts as he had, I don't think Gabe Davis is coming back to anything close to what he used to be.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like having a veteran like that, similar to Hollis, maybe not as fast as he was, is the only difference between the two. And Elijah Moore is on the team now, but he's non-existent in some games. This is what frustrates me the most here. There's not a single person last year on this list that I said that was like, man, that dude right there, we miss him. And we don't. We don't miss it. Last year, we were second in total points scored behind Detroit.
Okay.
And for the Cook lovers out there, which I love Cook as well, he wasn't Cook, as we know, until the last half of the season. Because if you remember, when the season was over, everyone was like, oh, we got to ride Cook in next season.
I agree. But here's the thing that you got. When going from last year to this year, like I said, NFL defenses learn, especially all your division rivals. You think they aren't just pouring over your Bills tape the whole time? And if you're not adding, that's actually a good thing is the fact that you guys didn't really change up the wide receiver core. You didn't improve it, right?
Yeah.
You didn't improve it at all. So if you didn't improve it, there's not really any changes that any of these defenses need to make.
I mean, we added Palmer.
They play well.
We added Palmer, who is probably a step up from
Palmer,
from any of the guys from last year.
Palmer, Mac Hollins, same thing.
Okay, fair enough.
But same thing. Okay. You know what? You didn't. But there's no Elijah Moore. I think has potential. Again, I don't know why you guys don't use him like that. I don't know what's going behind the scenes with that. But you need to use the Curtis Samuels, the Elijah Moores. These guys have great run after the catch things. You guys got to do the quick game of like the quick wide receiver screens.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's what you do with Shakur.
Yeah.
But you also I think what you guys are really missing is that person to go over the top. As far as the one that is, you're not worried about anybody going over the top. That's one thing that Mac Hollins did give you. He had speed to go over the top.
Yeah, and he's showing it in New England.
Sure. And he's absolutely showing that in New England, and he run block, which he helped with the running game as well. Yeah. Mac Hollins, I think, hurt you more than you guys actually realized. Actually, I think more than most of the league realized it was going to hurt you guys.
Exactly. Yeah, and that was simply just, do you pay Cook or you play Collins, right? Because, Collins wanted that 10-plus range there. I don't know how much he got in New England, but, ultimately the Bills did the right thing by not paying Collins. In the hindsight of things, I know we're struggling right now on the offense, just like you said, but you're not gonna not pay Cook and pay Collins just to get the
Well, here's another thing I just thought about is the fact is between Shakur, Curtis Samuel, Elijah Moore, they're all the same kind of wide receiver.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You need differences. You need the big wide receiver, which Keon Coleman should be that guy for you guys where you could toss the ball up and he can go get it even if someone is on him.
Yeah.
You need that speed guy to go over the top, and you need a slot wide receiver, which you obviously have in Shakur, but you also have in Curtis Samuel. You also have Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
good
problem.
points. Yeah, I mean, it's all good points. And so just to kind of wrap this up here, just disappointing, obviously loss. Uh, we're at a point of the season where we got to win and stay pace with New England because they got a soft schedule. But don't think what we saw against Miami is the Bills. I still have faith in them, but the wide receiver situation is
Well,
definitely
it's a
something.
wide receiver, but it's Kincaid. Kincaid allows to get matchup problems. When you don't have to worry about Kincaid, guess what? There's not really matchup problems.
Exactly. Yeah, Dawson Knox isn't going to run down the field at a seam route for sure.
Exactly.
I suspect at some point that Gabe Davis will be called up by the Bills and will slot in at that wide receiver spot. I
I
really
don't
don't.
think it's. We going back to what we just talked about. A guy over the top. Hardman just got signed to the practice squad.
Yeah.
That's who's going to be the one that's going to be over in the top.
Yeah.
That's why they signed him. I'll be honest. If Gabe Davis was showing, if he still had the speed he used to have, I think he would already been brought up a couple weeks ago. But the fact that they signed Hardman, they know they need that speed to pop it over the top.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he is.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Big matchup against Tampa Bay, and let's hopefully, knowing the Bills, they'll come back and take care of business, but it's got to be consistent going forward on that. All right, Tim. So we do not have, again, we reached out. The NFC is very scared to come into the Mafia, the Mafia room. It's literally the NFC. Oh, except for DJ
not,
Niceone.
Well, not after that Miami game. They shouldn't be scared.
Yeah, exactly. DJ Niceone is representing the NFC so far, but we've reached out to tons of people here to try to get in there. So unable to get him in to the other sideline. But from your perspective, Tim, what is Bills Mafia looking at with this Tampa team coming in into Buffalo?
The Tampa team, you're going to have to stop Egabuka. He's tearing it up this year. And honestly, you got to clamp down Baker Mayfield. This is the time for the pass rushers to step it up. I want to see Bosa. I want to see, Russo. You better step it up and get in Baker Mayfield's face because he's going to toss all over you guys.
Yeah, big game for Max Harrison here, I would imagine. So from a Tampa Bay standpoint, are you probably gonna you think Tampa's gonna probably make sure they get that matchup with Max, or maybe like a Trey, or
Honestly, as far as the matchup they're trying to do, I don't think there's any cornerback that you guys have that someone's going to be, throwing away from. You don't have a Deion Sanders on your team.
yeah.
They're gonna go with the matchups that whatever suits them. Now, you guys might be smart by putting Harrison and have him following Egabuka throughout the game.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be an interesting game, and that kind of leads me into to an email that we got for Tim the Outsider. So this one comes from Ryan in Arizona. So wow, we're
okay.
out in Arizona now. We appreciate you tuning in. And he says, "Hey Tim, tough one in Miami. Team looked off. You've been saying all along that consistency is key. Now we head to Tampa, and the Bills fans are looking for a little perspective. What stood out to you most in the loss? Execution, energy, or just one of those weeks where nothing clicked? And as we shift to the Bucs, what's one area you would want to see cleaned up, and one thing you did like from the Miami game? Keep it real as you always do, Tim. This is from Arizona. He just signed it off from Arizona.
So I
thanks
think
for your email.
I think the only way you can really do that is obviously you got to clean up the turnovers.
Yeah.
You guys can't afford to be turning over the ball like that. As many times you turn over the ball, you're
9 out of 10 times though, Josh. 9 out of 10 times, Josh makes that run on that fumble. Like, he's not fumbling.
Yeah, fumbles happen. I mean, granted, I hate them just like every other fan, but they happen. He's not a fumbler. That's not his game. But hey, it happened. But it's all the turnovers.
Yeah.
So we need you turn over the ball 2, 3 more than that in a game, you're going to lose 90% of the time in the NFL.
Yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate it. And now we're going to hop into the Mafia mail.
BillsMafia, make some noise. It's time for Mafia mail.
All right. It is now time for Mafia mail. And this one comes from Brandon, who lives in Raleigh, North Carolina. So right in our backyards here, Tim. His subject line is shaking off the loss, eyes on Tampa. Hey guys, Brandon here from Raleigh. That one in Miami stung, but I'm not ready to panic. Each team has a bad week. What matters is how you bounce back, and I still believe in Josh and this defense. Question for you guys. What's one adjustment you'd like to see Buffalo make going into Tampa? I know you try to keep it honest, but give us a reason Bills Mafia should feel confident this week, Tim. Go Bills, be good, do good. God bless. Let's get back in the winning column. Thank you, Brandon from Raleigh. I love the tagline there, as you know, part of our show. So, Tim, go ahead. What do you got?
Well, the fact is, what I want to see different from you guys. Like I preach every week. You guys don't have the wide receivers. Run the ball. Keep pounding the James Cook and make them be honest. Run the RPOs. You have Josh Allen back there. He fakes it to James Cook and he takes off. Guess what? He gets a lot of yards as well. And then you can get wide receivers open once they start putting men in the box. That's where you guys got to go.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything there. Got to stick to the plan, and whatever the Bills thought they were in the beginning of the season may not be where they are now. And I know we're still some football left, but the division is getting away, not only in the AFC East, but also, in the whole division here. And the most important thing right now for the Bills is they are within reach of the AFC East championship. So making sure they stay on track and get that focus. That's kind of the key to that piece as well. Thanks for your question, Brandon from Raleigh. And if you have a question or want to get into Mafia Mail, you can do that by emailing billsmafiacto@gmail.com. And that was our Mafia Mail.
And that closes out this week's Mafia mail. Always love hearing from the family. Now, back to the action.
Alrighty, thanks again for the Mafia Mail. And now it's time, Tim, to take a look at this Tampa Bills matchup, kind of get our X factors, what needs to be done here. What do you got?
X factors is like I said, the pass rush. I'm going to tell you right now, it's Bosa and Russo. I want to see them take over the game. Obviously you guys, and actually AJ Espinoza as well. I want them to take over the game, and you're going to need to, because if you don't get in Baker Mayfield's face, he's going to find wide open receivers. He gave the Patriots some issues, but you saw once you put some pressure on them, that's going to be an issue, and that's where it is. If the pressure's not there, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah. And what do you suspect from the offensive side of things? Like, what's kind of the X factor, do you think, for the Bills to get the W?
It's not turning the ball over. You guys can score. You guys can move the ball. If you don't turn over the ball, guess what? At minimum, you'll get a field goal. You're going to score points. Look, you got to not turn over the ball.
Isn't that frustrating, though? And I know we're talking about the X factors of this game, but you bring up a good point. Like, the Bills are going to score, but isn't it frustrating, though? Like, knowing the wide receiver core is not good, but yet you, the outsider of Bills Mafia, basically, knows that the Bills are going to score points?
Because you have Josh Allen back there. I'm going to tell you guys right now. If let's say Josh Allen off, if he was not your quarterback, you guys would have probably one of the worst offenses in the league.
We would be in a 20-year drought.
Exactly. It would be horrible. If you didn't have a mobile quarterback back there, you guys would be in a lot of issues because you, like I said, your wide receivers do not get open.
Yeah. Man, that would not be fun. This podcast would not be fun if we were in a 20-year drought. All right, so my X factors here, Tim. I mean, it's pretty much every week, to be quite honest with you. The Bills have to start off fast. They don't do that. They didn't do it. I think I mentioned this last week. If we go back and look at the previous games that they lost, the Bills did not start fast. They had to come back. The struggling, hurt defense, although played very well, defense is the ones that kept them in the game. So the Bills have to come out firing. I think you would agree with me because I think you had said this last week after the Kansas City win. You wanted to see what the Bills would do outside of Bills Mafia home, and they laid an egg, right?
Exactly.
So I feel like the Bills are back at home now. So I suspect that they'll probably take off firing, and that's going to be a key to that. And James Cook is the other factor here. Got to get going. Got to get him going. And I don't want to use this because I think it's like a cliche, but I'm starting to realize that it is probably really important. But McDermott always talks about the front line, the offensive line, the defensive line, setting the tone there. And if you think about it as a fan, that's really where the ball starts, is the offensive line. You snap the ball, those 5 guys are the ones going to set the tone. And last week they didn't do that, and I think that hurt them. And James Cook wasn't able to get going. So that's my X factor there on that side of it. And the defense, to your point, pressure, it's got to be there. I know Bosa had a club on his hand, so I'm not sure how effective he's going to be, but hopefully they can get some pressure there and keep Baker in the thing. What's your score prediction for this one, Tim?
It's in Buffalo, right? It's in Buffalo. I'm going to say 28-21 Bucs.
Okay. All right. This is your first pick against the Bills, right?
No, actually, I picked Atlanta.
Oh, you did
beating
pick Atlanta. Okay. Yeah. And that's kind of what started the Tim the Outsider barrage of emails.
So,
Yeah, I think this is going to come down to a touchdown, 21-28. I'm not going to dive too into this. I've been crazy with my predictions, but the reality of the situation is right now the Bills' offense is not good. They are reeling, trying to figure things out here. To your point, they are going to score points. I don't think it's going to be, it's not going to be as big of a margin as it was against Kansas City, although the score was close. You and I both agreed the Bills dominated from day one, from basically the kickoff. I don't think that's going to be the case here. I think the Bills struggle a bit, still trying to find their identity. So I'm going to go 28-21 on there.
28-21 Bills winning?
Yes, I'm going to go Bills. Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now. I would love to see your guys' defense step it up, and just take over the game. I was not impressed with the fact that what you guys did in Miami.
Yeah.
As far as defense wise.
Yeah.
Now you guys did cause a couple turnovers.
Yeah.
But as simple as this, you got to be a defense that can make stops and not just depend on turnovers.
No, I agree. I'm with you. And I do think Max Harrison is going to be really good. Just from the couple games that he had played, he's really good. I know a few of those INTs are like punts, basically. I think I think Mahomes was like 3rd and 15. He threw it up there, and I even think Tua's was the same as 3rd and long. Those are punts, basically, but they count. He played well. He's a good open field tackler, so I'm hoping that he will, be a difference maker come Sunday for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, it's time now for our weekly picks, Tim. So here we are. You are 16-14.
Okay.
Doing well. I'm 14-16. So I'm not doing well. But you were getting killed by me, and now you've branched up there. So good job. So as you guys know, if you've been tuning in, this is where Tim gives us his weekly picks, and he has no idea who I'm going to give him, except he's got to pick from the top of his dome, and we'll see how he does. So you ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
Jets, Pats.
Oh, Patriots. It's not even. I don't even think it's even be close.
All right.
I'm becoming a Patriots fan. Take that, Bills Mafia.
I'm going Jets here. Short week. New England has looked good. Drake May has looked good, but they've had some nail biters down the stretch here leading into this game. And as much as the Jets are terrible, I do believe in the coach there, and they do have a good defense. I know, obviously, they trade a few away, but I think the Jets get it done here for the sake of the Bills.
I'm going to tell you right now, watch for Travion Henderson. He's going to be probably one of the top running backs for the rest of the season.
All right, there you go, you fantasy players out there. If you or your daily fantasy, Tim just gave you a little nugget. KC Denver, huge matchup for really both teams, but mainly Kansas City, right?
Where's it at? I didn't see where it's at.
I don't know where it's at. Let me take a look where it's at.
Because I really think that's going to be it should be a great game. And obviously Kansas City needs it.
Yeah, this is going to be played in Denver.
In Denver, I'm going to tell you right now, I think Denver's going to go for the knockout blow. And because a loss to Kansas City, one is going to, right now, if playoffs started, Kansas City's out.
Yeah.
So Kansas City needs this bad, but Denver's defense is going to step it up. I think Bo Nix is going to have a big game, especially being at home.
Yeah, Denver's played well. And like to your point, Bo Nix does well at home. This is a tough one for me because you never want to bet against Kansas City and Mahomes. But they are reeling here, and they do need it. They probably need it more than Denver, would be my guess.
100%.
Certainly there is implications of division on here as well. I think that division is really up for grabs here, and I think Denver kind of puts a hold on it. So I'm also going to go Denver here as well. I think they get it done, and they're going to get it done at a last-second field goal, something like that. That's how I mean, they're certainly not going to blow Kansas City out. Eagles Lions.
I honestly think with the Denver defense, what you guys did to Patrick Mahomes, I think it's going to be worse. The only thing I think that gives them a Kansas City a possible edge is the fact that Andy Reid's coming off a bye, and that's a big deal.
And Bo Nix is not Josh Allen.
No, Bo Nix does it, but he doesn't need to be as far as he's got a defense.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to your point, and we talked about this, the Kansas City Bills game. On the score, it didn't look like a blowout, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it felt like that.
Bills blew out Kansas City. That game was not even close to what the actual score was.
Right, but what I'm saying is that the difference between that game and what you're saying in Kansas City and Denver is one guy, Josh Allen, right? Because Josh Allen makes things happen. And he's able to go in there and do things like that against Kansas City. I'm not sure Bo Nix, as good as their defense is, can do that. So they need to Denver to win this game. They need one or two more turnovers than what or one or two more big plays than what Bills did to get that done. But I do think it's going to be close. Eagles Lions.
Another big game. From what I just saw from the Eagles last night, I'm going to have to go with Detroit. The Eagles, they find a way to win. I give them credit for that. But they did not put up any points last night. And Detroit's coming off a bye as well. So, you know what? Detroit knows they need to win, and they're trying to take a stranglehold of their division as well. So I'm going to go with Detroit.
Yeah, it's a good pick. I'm going to go with Detroit here as well. And I think I had talked to you about this a few weeks ago. I feel like the Eagles and the Bills are kind of the same team right now. They're just, they got good organization, good team. Now, obviously, the wide receivers are different there in Philly than they are in Buffalo. But I just feel like they're kind of the same team where they're good enough to get there. They're good enough to get to the big game. They're good enough to win the game, the Super Bowl. But it's just a weird feeling that's going on in Philadelphia in the Bills. And, some of the games that Philly are winning is kind of what we saw last year in Kansas City. But I do think, to your point, this is a big game, maybe bigger for Detroit here. So, I'm definitely gonna and in the bye there, so I'm definitely gonna go Detroit on that one. And then the G-Men versus the Packers. Brian Daboll no longer a part of the organization. Sidetrack here. Are you shocked that they kept the GM?
Yes, I would clear house, but
Would you do that as an owner of the Giants? Would you do that? Clear the GM and the coach the same time, the same day, with still 9 to 8 games left in the season?
see, I don't. As far as the back dealings, I don't know what their contingency plan is. If you did fire the GM, to work the stuff behind.
I don't
Now, it
think
might,
there's a lot of. I don't think teams have contingency plans for GMs. That's why a lot of times you see them stay. Would that be fair to say?
yes and no. I mean, the one thing with the GMs, they work hand in hand with owners a lot of times. So guess what? They have better relationships.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and honestly, they rather just keep them going. The problem with that is I've seen, hey, Shane, I've seen the groceries you put out there. Dable can only cook with so much.
Yeah. So they're playing the Pack this week. So what are you thinking for the G-Men versus Pack?
Well, first of all, Dart's still in concussion protocol, so there's no guarantee he's even playing. And they might just be safe with him as far as that because he's the future. So actually after the Packers just put the game up they need to and they need to win big time, I definitely think Packers are winning this game.
Okay. I am going to go Giants here. And the sole reason for the Giants is historically when things like this happen, where coaches are fired, GMs are fired, i.e. Miami, when there's huge turnover like that, I don't know what it is. Obviously, I'm not in the locker room, but there's just something in there, right? I don't know if it's just a relaxing kind of mentality, or they want to fight for the coach or the GM or whatever that case may be. So
And
I think
it's called step it up because the fact is once the head coach is out, nobody's job is safe.
okay,
So
yeah,
guess what? You better step it up because you're trying out for the new coach right now.
okay, that makes a lot of sense. So with that being said, I think it's kind of the same scenario. Now, not all teams win, but certainly what I see is usually teams keep it real close when those teams that have let go their GM or their coach shouldn't even have kept the game close. It just comes down to that. So I think it's the same scenario with the G-Men. But I am going to pick them to win. This is a morale, thank you, Dayball kind of a thing.
I hope it does. I hope it does happen, but
Yeah.
I don't see it happen.
Yeah. Well, I need to collect some points on you, so that's why I'm going opposite there. So, but yeah, we'll see how that one turns out. And so that are all of the picks for this week. All right, guys, thanks again for tuning in to another episode. I want to thank Tim, the Outsider, as always. And if you have a question for Tim, the Outsider, you can email us at billsmafiacto@gmail.com. Don't forget, we are on Spotify and YouTube, so make sure you subscribe, like, and make those comments. If you also want to get a part of our Bills Mafia mail section, you can do that by emailing us at billsmafiacto@gmail.com. In the subject line, put Mafia Mail, so we make sure we get that on the air. And as always, be good, do good, God bless, go Bills.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Bills Mafia Carolina Takeover. Thanks for tuning in and repping the Mafia with us. Don't forget to subscribe, drop your Mafia mail, and join us next time as we bring the passion, the pride, and the power of the Buffalo Bills straight from the Carolinas. Let's go Buffalo.